Okay, welcome back to Sport Talks. I'm JDS, and well, I wasn't wrong with the Eagles. We fixed 2 of the 3 things, and we were in the game against Sydney for most of the game. We fell away a bit at the end, but as I was saying, if we can fix all 3 of those points, we are in every game right to the end. We'll probably still lose most because that's what it's like I was saying last week. But we will be in every game. We will not be the team that everyone thinks we are if we just do those 3 things. The only one we didn't solve last week was the turnovers. We fixed the just pathetic lapses of concentration at the end of the game, and we fixed the inability to do anything up front. And that's without our main 3 forwards. Like really, if you look at our forward line now, Darling's not much of a goal scorer these days. He does more pressure work up the ground, crashing contests, flicking it forward, like tapping around players in the midfield, getting opportunities for goal for other players. He doesn't really seem to score many himself. When he gets a chance at the moment, he seems to just squandle. What's the word? Fuck it up. That works. But yeah, we looked good. You can still definitely see many areas of improvement. The game still looks scrappy, which I think in a way can be a good thing if we can force, which we've seen to be able to do so far, even when we're being whipped. If we can force the other team to be scrappy with us, it's not such a problem that we're scrappy. Obviously, it's going to create more turnovers and stuff naturally, but if we can manage to continuously force the other teams to play that scrappy style of footy with us, it's not that much of a problem. The problem comes in, I probably should have turned this on so you can see my face properly. There you go. The problem comes in when we can't get them to play the style of footy we want. If we are scrappy and they're managing to be clean, handle it around us and just run down the field like happened the previous few weeks, that's when we get those big losses. But if we can force them to play scrappy with us, then I'd say it's a risky style of playing footy and one that I'm not really much of a fan of, but it can work. But I doubt that's what we're going for, so we might want to clean it up a bit. But yeah, we look good. Reed obviously looked great on the weekend. He still needs to try and get all 4 quarters played well. He still had a bit of a fall away, but that's going to happen when you're young, especially. I do think his fitness-wise isn't maybe quite up there because he always seems to. It's not like he plays the second half good. It's always the start of the game's good. Although the first quarter wasn't so great in this game, but anyway, it's always the start of the game's good, and then he fades away towards the end. And the celebration from the goal tells me that he is actually invested in the club. He's not just here because he was drafted to us. He seems to be that natural reaction to grab the badge and show it to the camera tells me that he has an actual emotional investment in the team. It wasn't like a forcing that he did after the fact, the celebration where he did that to the camera. It was literally in the motion, in the emotion of the moment. He did that, which is a good sign for him sticking around. What else to talk about? I guess again we won. I think actually we equaled this week. Actually no, we won. We won centre clearances, but we were dominated a bit around the ground on the clearances against Sydney. It is Wednesday, so it's been a while since our game now. It was Saturday morning. What else? I don't have any notes today. I'm just sort of riffing it. Duggan had a good. When you were watching, it didn't feel like he had a good game. It felt like his game was a bit, because he was turning the ball over quite a lot and making some interesting decisions. Kicks weren't the greatest, lots of big loopy ones, but his stats looked pretty good. So maybe it's just those things stick in your mind, and he did. A bit of like when Gaff was still a decent player, the Gaff effect, where they do lots of little things where it's not really that impressive, but they equal up to being an important part of the team. Which only really works for so long until you start to drop off a bit, like Gaff has been for the last 4 years, really. Where we should have got rid of him when North Melbourne wanted him, because we could have got lots of money for him, and equivalent money, and we would have been a lot better off than we are now. Because now he's not worth anything and is just sitting in the waffle team. Where he should be as well, not like he shouldn't be there, he should be in the waffle team. But you live and you learn. What else? Yo did quite well. Gibney was better, but I do think he's not reached the heights he was at last year for sure. Let me focus on my face because it's not focusing properly. Anything else? I don't really have that much to say this week. That's why I don't only do weekly things. I think same as last week. Keep on the same pattern. Keep looking for those little improvements. try and fix those turnovers, but try not to regress on the other stuff. We should be having people like Cully, Sheed, Ryan, those players coming into the team in the next couple of weeks, month or so. And then in the month or so following that, we should be getting Oscar and a few others back as well. Elijah Hewitt. Don't know how you're going to feed them into the team though, when the game they played, they didn't play great. And then since they've gone, we've picked up. So it's hard to really... Oscar's going to be obviously slide back in instantly. But some of the other players like Hewitt, is he going to have to earn his way back into the squad through the waffle? Or will he slip straight in? But who for? If Dom Shee comes back and plays well, then we have in the inside, we have... I guess you could maybe push Long back to the forward line and put Hewitt on the wing. But yeah, the midfield's looking nice at the moment. It's looking pretty strong. I'm not too sure about Marek up front. I'm assuming he will be the guy to move out when Allen comes back. But yeah, a few players coming back might have to work their way into the team a bit. Like small forward, you will probably... Cripps was better on the weekend. He kicked a very good... I don't know how he kicked that goal from that angle into that wind. Because that wind was into his face from a tight angle, almost 50 out, and he slotted it straight the whole way through. Straight down, gun barrel straight. So yeah, I don't really know how he did that, but he seemed better, so I don't know. I said he might surprise me. I don't know who. I say him or Petricelli, but they're both not playing bad. So does Ryan have to work his way back into the squad, because he's not done much for years? So is he going to have to try and build his way into the squad again? I don't know what we're actually... It's weird that we're having a selection crisis, where I guess our selection crisis in the past has been there's no fucking players left. Now we actually have to decide who do we pick, because I guess what's happened is we've been seeing them all so like in little bits throughout the last year or two, and they've all done good things and bad things, and because we've been such a bad team up and down, there's very few players who've been consistently good like Oscar has been, or like say when he's in like Yo was, or Shui was last year when he was actually in the team. There's few players, or say Barras and Duggan, there's few players who've been consistently good the whole time, or when they have been in, they've got injured so quick that they're not going to get into decent form to prove that they are unequivocally better than the other person that's in the team currently. So I think what's happened is that all in our mind, apart from nostalgia and say like for the older players, what they were or have been in the past, getting in the way of it, everyone's pretty much at a pretty similar level around lots of after the top tier of players. Once you go down one tier, it all seems pretty like no one's proved himself unequivocally recently that they should be in that squad over the others. So it's a bit of a who do we pick when they're coming back in? Do we bring the ones back in that were traditionally the better players who we've known in the past can do it? Or do we take the risk on the younger guy who's pushing through? And it depends, I guess, where you want to look at. Do you want to look more at sacrifice the season and go for development and play some of the younger guys more? Or do you want to sort of find a good balance, which is probably what they'll try and do? Or do you go what's most likely the higher chance of a better season this year and just put the proven players in, like Ryan, like Oscar's going to be anyway, but Oscar, leave Cripps in, leave Hewitt out because Sheed will come in and he'll probably be good anyway. Like things like that. I don't know what I would do really. Obviously Marek's gone out of the squad for Allen. If Ryan come back before Allen, will Marek go for Ryan and Ryan play full forward? Maybe. Wouldn't be the first time he's played full forward. He's done it first in the past when Allen had his shoulder injury. So that's an option until Oscar comes back. We leave the other small forwards and have Ryan as our, I guess, small, tall forward. Because he's got the leaps. I would assume he's got the leaps still. I know he did hurt his hamstring, but it shouldn't affect his leap that much. And he's probably in his highest scoring, like in terms of goals per minute, probably scored the most when he was full forward as well. So yeah, maybe that's an option actually. Maybe we could do that. Anyway, I am kind of just waffling. We have Richmond, which is I've got my my good phone back because I had my old one because I shattered the shit out of the screen. I'm pretty sure we have Richmond this week, which is our first real win possibility of the season. Although this AFL app, since I got this phone, is just freezing when you press matches. Let me try and go to SofaScore. AFL. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, close that. I'm pretty sure. Yes, we have Richmond at 2 p.m. on the Sunday. You can't see that. Can I zoom in? I can't. Oh, what's that last one there? Can you see that? You should be able to see that. Well, yeah, Richmond. At home as well. It's our first real chance to win, but they did beat Sydney last round, so round 3, not round 4, so the previous one before we versed them. So it won't be as easy as, like, they were probably, when we were looking at games, by we I mean just me, my dad, anyone I was talking to, when you look at games of who they was have a chance to win, we were thinking Richmond, North Melbourne, Essendon, but maybe Richmond, given they played they beat Sydney and they played decent since. Maybe they're that level above where it's just out of reach. I don't know. If we get things right, I think we can, in theory, beat a lot more teams than we thought earlier in the season. But we just need to try and stop those turnovers, because that will allow us to. We'll probably still lose most games by a goal, 3 goals at the end, because we're a weaker team. That's not what's going to happen. But it will get us right to that. If we fix those 3 things, it gets us that chance to be right with them at the end of the game in the last 10 minutes to try and push for that win. As I said, normally we'll fall short, but at least gets us that opportunity of winning a game more often. If we can't get those 3 things right, then we're always going to be, even if we miss one like we did last week, we had turnovers happen probably more than they should still. We still lost by 30 points or something. Actually, I don't know what it was in there. It was about 30, something like that. It was like 70 to 109 or something, wasn't it? So 40. So because we had those turnovers and we fell away a bit at the end, like we're always going to normally as a lower team. What was I saying? Oh yeah, that's always going to happen. Even if you play well, even when we fixed most of the problems late in the game, it was just too much and we fell away. So even though we were still fairly close, we weren't close enough to push them right to that line to give ourselves a real chance of winning the game. But yeah, I'm just waffling now, so I'm going to end it there. Thanks, bye. See you when I see you.